last 20 years, this type of roof. 40 years. They plan on that roof lasting 40 before they have to replace it. So that's a nice little savings. Also, it absorbs water that lands on the property, rainwater, 4 million gallons in 1 year. So if the water runs off our roof, we have to treat it. The Rouge River comes in here, we have a waste treatment facility. 4 million gallons don't leave that roof. It stays on the roof. It's not as heavy as you think, that's over a year. And so it's built to handle a little more weight. So it has a lot of positives to it having this living roof. Now, as it's happening on the right here, you see that yellow wall to the right? There's like a yellow wall down there. Okay, there's a truck coming around the corner. Okay, you see the truck that just turned the corner coming down? That's the last test a truck goes on before the customer. It's called shake and rattle. At the end there, you should slow down. Right about here, it might be a little different. You'll notice that there is some bumps out there. Okay. That's to make sure it can withstand our Michigan potholes. If we feel it can withstand that punishment,
He's not going fast.
it's going to pull in that white building there. So every single truck off the line goes on that shake and rattle test. And he will pull into that little white building. And after that happens, we hand the key off to another company that moves that truck. That's all they do. They move the truck to the parking lot. Those are other F-150s in the distance too. That's another parking lot. So we have about 5 parking lots we use where the truck goes after it leaves here. Now, just a little sidelight out here, you can see the Ford World Headquarters. So there's a large hotel out there, and a little bit to the right, that single building. Looks like a skyscraper. They call it the Glass House. It has 5 acres of glass in that building, to give you an idea. So Bill Ford Jr. is on the 12th floor. You saw him in the movie. The great-grandson, that's his office. In fact, he can look right into this window. And you might think a tour guide would just say that, but I know he can because he comes over here. He's got a beautiful view of the Rouge complex. Yeah, so I'm on my best behavior when Bill's over there. Yeah. And you know, he drives in from Ann Arbor, Michigan, so he lives over there by the University of Michigan, right down the street, not too far. That's where Bill Ford lives. Real nice guy. Okay, if you want to head over this way, folks. I'm going to give you a general overview. The panels are real informative, and feel free to take a picture or two. You get a lot of nice shots from here. Now you got a little sun coming in here. So we're looking south. So our property is 1.5 miles long, 3/4 of a mile wide, as you're looking out that window. It was the largest factory in the world in the 1930s and 40s. There was no place like this in the whole world. Henry Ford purchased 2,000 acres right where we're standing. So we had 100,000 people, 93 buildings. And we did raw materials to finished product. Nobody in the world did that, what Henry Ford did here. The river's about 1 mile in front of us. You can't really see it because of the buildings, but the freighters still come in to this day, the large freighters. Now this is the employee parking lot. You see this in front of us? So they walk into that building, they walk through that tunnel, and they go into the factory. So our workers get some good exercise in the morning, I can tell you that. On the parking lot, about where I'm standing, there is a line, a green line. Can you see where that is?
Yeah.
If you don't drive a Ford, you have to park on the left-hand side. Now, a lot of people think I'm making that up, but I'm not. Okay, GM and Chrysler have something very similar. No one's going to arrest you, no tickets. There is a little peer pressure, but I will say this, every employee does get a discount. A-plan. Yeah, you get a nice discount, you're making a paycheck. Almost everybody I know drives a Ford. Now, the only time you see more non-Fords over there, we have different seniority groups. So if you were to come here on Friday, there would be a lot of non-Fords over there. That's our new employees. A lot of them don't even have a year in. So I'm sure they're driving whatever they were driving before they got hired. But there's no excuse for these people.
They got a lot farther.
Today has a lot more seniority. So they work Monday through Thursday, one group of people. That's their days of the week they work. That's your older employees, so there's no excuse for those folks. And somebody like me that's been here 46 years, no excuse if I don't buy a Ford. I only drive Ford, that's it. I'm pretty loyal to my company. We did plant 22 acres of flowers, trees, and shrubs. We even have beehives down there on our industrial site, which I think is kind of neat. The blue and the yellow box at the front, towards the front of the orchard, that's our beehives. So in about another month or so, we'll be taking school groups out here. We do nature walks. So I don't know too many industrial sites have that. Bill Ford Jr. is an environmentalist. You will be hearing a lot more about it in the next couple years. But he's just very much on being friendly to the environment. More so than most industrial type guys. And he's been like that for about 20 years, 20 or 30 years, he has felt that way. The building on the right, the blue building, that's a stamping plant. So remember in the second movie where the big presses were coming down and kind of shaking the floor? That's what happens in that building. There's 1,000 presses in there. I worked there in 1975. The noise level you heard, I heard that 5 times a minute for 10 hours. I did wear hearing protection. They required it in that building. My wife says I lost my hearing. I only hear what I want to hear. That's what my wife said. You know, but my wife's been on the tour, and I told her that. But guess what? She still just thinks I only hear what I want to hear. Now, as you look out here, you can see the city of Detroit skyline. Some of you might recognize that. The tallest building there, the Renaissance Center, also known as General Motors World Headquarters. Now, I don't mind saying that. One thing some people don't know, that Ford built that. We sold that to General Motors, if you look at the history of the building. But it is one of the nicer buildings to visit in Detroit. If you go to Detroit, and if you talk to the right person, you can go up to the top of that building in an elevator, a glass elevator, and look into Canada. It's pretty nice. You just got to tell them, you know, hey, I'd really like to go to the top. And if you, like I say, I have my grandkids with me, and they let us go to the top. You know, it's really a nice site. Now, as you look over there, the building to the right of the GM World Headquarters, that's in Canada. So you can actually look right into Canada right there. That's how close we are to Canada. That building is in Canada, the building on the right. So it's right across the river. Now the Renaissance, the GM World Headquarters is so big, it has its own zip code. There's 10,000 people that work in that building. Its own zip code, separate zip code. Now it's not just the tall one, it's the set of buildings around it too. I think there's 4 towers around it. So there's about 10,000 people employed over there. That's pretty good employment. Yeah, it's not bad. So I gave you a general overview. If you do have any questions, I'd be happy to answer it. And when you leave here, you're going to go to the elevator over there, push the orange button, and you're going to go over there and see them build the truck. Whenever you, now, you don't have to travel as a group. This is a self-guided tour. Unless you're all cousins, don't feel like you got to travel like this. But we get people that want to try. Oh, I came on the bus with these folks. Maybe I should just keep going. Well, you really don't have to do that. Just to let you know, take it at your own pace. And lastly, some of you might have saw already, but my name is Henry. I'm Henry that works at Ford. Okay, some people might have saw that. One guy didn't believe me. He had to come up and look at my badge. He said, "I'm not believing you, sir." Oh, you are Henry. That's pretty amazing. Okay. So where's some of you folks visiting from? We got any out-of-towners here?
Idaho.
Idaho? All right. Missouri? Any other states? Yeah, okay. Very nice. I'm from Detroit.
I've heard of that place somewhere.
You know, that might sound funny in a way, but here's what it is. When I was in the factory, this is a true story, 1973, I was in the cafeteria, 20 guys in there, and they go, "Henry, do you realize you're the only one from Michigan in this room?" So when I say it, I mean, it's not like you think. We have people from all over the world that worked here. These people from down south, Alabama, Mississippi, they don't have these jobs. That's why we're such a diverse culture here. And I wouldn't even be standing here. My grandmother came from Germany and Ellis Island. My uncle got a job in Detroit, and here we are. So we have German guests, and I go, this is what a German looks like after 109 years in America. I kind of get them laughing. I hope the joke's taken all right. But a lot of people, they had to teach English in the factory because 50% of the factory was immigrants. They couldn't speak English. How are you going to work together in the factory? But guess what? They taught English right in the factory. Okay. Fortunately, I didn't have to learn it as a second language or something. So whenever you're ready, feel free to take pictures. Whenever you want to leave, go over to the elevator. There's 3 color buttons, and you're going to push the orange button.
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Carry on. Carry on.
Sure.
Or do you want to take more pictures?
That's the power house. Real dark path, way into this. That's one of the old buildings. That was in the mid.
I heard a lot of geese. I heard a lot of geese. Oh, that's why.
Even though it's been renovated many times.
I wonder I heard a lot of
But
geese.
it was open in 25.
Oh my god, that goose just chased that.
We had the glass.
That was funny to watch.
But what it is, it looks like this
Is
today.
that one goose in the water at that?
So it used to be a real long
I
nose.
just sprinted at full speed, chased one.
They don't use it for making, we don't do glass rubber or steel. We got out of the
That's what I was looking for. I was looking all around. There it is right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That blue one, right? It's in Canada. Is it that one? Or is it that really tall one? Or is it,
It's the little square one.
oh, it's the charming.
Very often. You don't wanna lose that kind of. But we don't stockpile a lot of inventory. I mean, everything is limited. We do. So we got a little bit of a warehouse area in there. Couple
There you go.
hours worth of stuff.
There you go.
If it gets critical low, say right around this corner, there's a helicopter